Welcome to Ironcast. We've got a 1v1, and my name's Anuki, but I'm not the most important person here. Let's introduce the two people who are. In the northeast, they were built on an ancient burial ground. Leading the hard Brexit, it's the commander known as Ionic. In the southwest, in the fog of war, their opponent lurks. They've got a heart of a cliff racer and the mind of a different cliff racer. You all know who I'm talking about. Of course, it's Crowley, MPTV. Crowley? I'm gonna say Crowley. Only one could assume that also stands for Manor Point Television? MPTV? Whatever happened to television anyway? Is it still going? Is it still on? So this is just a regular cast. Thank you to Ionic for sending this one in. If you have a cool replay, post a replay in the Ironcast Discord. If you don't know how to do that, then the instructions are there too. And whilst we wait for our players to discover their anger for each other, I'll run public service announcements. Current T reserves in household are depleting at a ratio of 5% a day, probably because these videos aren't monetized and the amount of power consumed to upload these videos in 4K is tremendous. We should have a coal power plant, but I'm using ordinary wind turbines, so it takes a bit longer. You can help speed up the process by subscribing to the YouTube. If you subscribe now, you will receive one fun. It's a fair trade. Now let's get it on! Double sappers opening. I feel it is the way to go. Sappers are just the strongest engineer type unit on the field. Out of the four factions, flamethrowers are really strong too, so later they'll get upgraded. The Wehrmacht, on the other hand, have to be careful with the initial engagements against sappers because they get up in your face. Grenadiers, tremendously weak. They struggle against everything. Infantry sections win at range against Grenadiers. Sappers win at close range against Grenadiers. But Wehrmacht have to get into tier 2 or 3 as quickly as possible to start countering all of the infantry sections. We'll see what Crowley can do. Just leaving their pioneers in heavy cover as the Grenadiers take up a ranged position, firing into the side of the sappers, coming round the back with the Grenadiers. Okay, this is a smart thing to do. They've encircled the British. They must have known the fight was going to occur here to do this. Slipping round, using the line of sight blockers, but lo and behold, an infantry section comes up behind them. They do manage to get the sappers out of the way, though, so they're no longer dealing with units that have a lot of damage up close. They converge on another infantry section. One of the Grenadier squads taking over half of their life. Kedenkrad on the beach side of the map, being shooed away from aggressive sappers, taking the victory point. The beach falls to the British, and they shall call it Brighton. Legends say it's a fabulous place. Now I'm going to assume that Crowley is checking up now. Allow me just to express a feeling about Company of Heroes 3, even though it is awesome and I love it. Do you feel teching is really fast? Like, especially for the Wehrmacht. Maybe just for the Wehrmacht, but the fact that the Wehrmacht have to tech quickly feels like we're skipping phases of the game. The US versus Wehrmacht matchup is commonly, I think, in the top 200 plus, Luftwaffe versus Airborne, and trying to skip to tier 4 as fast as possible. We're missing the tension in the escalation. Anyway, maybe something to chat about in the comments or Discord, perhaps. Third infantry section out. Crowley moving to retake some parts of the beach on their side of the map, whilst they lose the top to the British. Sappers versus Grenadiers. Ooh, Roger taking a bullet, so the sappers down to 3. The Grenadiers in heavy cover. Exactly how the Grenadiers have to fight this. Sappers hold out long enough just to capture the +10 munitions, but the Grenadiers will soon take that.
We're losing ammunition.
We've got the Vet 1 on the Grenadiers as well, so now they have access to medkits.
Sector lost. Repeat. Sector lost.
Oh, and a sniper out on the field. Love seeing a sniper out. Hate not being able to see them, though. Check in on that kill count. Will Ionic get a dingo? Is this where the sniper is? It must have been. That must have been what they were rifle grenading. I can't see any other reason for it. So with a veterancy upgrade from the infantry company, the sniper will also get Vet 1 and a 25% increased veterancy experience gain. But that sniper is possibly going to have to contend with a Humber arriving. Fuel getting decapped. As the Wehrmacht have ran all the way down the beach to capture the bottom side of the map, just leaving that top side open to the British. They're even going for that safe fuel right next to their base, presumably. They're not there yet, but I see no reason why not. There's that Humber being produced now. Long-range engagement between the Grenadiers. Back away from the rifle grenade. Good dodge. Infantry section has the advantage here, though. Already taking that squad down to half health. Panzer Grenadiers on the field. So, Crowley went tier 3. So they could potentially get a pack out to try and counter this Humber. They could try and hold on for a long time and get a stug out. There's the sniper just hitting that retreat button straight away. And I think you kind of have to. I've seen vehicles chase down retreating squads all too easily. That Humber, just one of around 5,000 built. But the most cool thing I learned is apparently Britain sent some Humbers to Portugal. Ooh, just getting out of there. That could have been almost squad wipey. Now, I find that little fact interesting because I'm currently hiding in Portugal. So I wonder if any around in war museums here, if we have any. Portugal is super peaceful and super neutral. Another infantry section coming out. And I'm wondering what Crowley is going to be doing against this Humber. I mean, it has to be a pack. I do believe that the pack can two-shot a Humber if it gets it in the side. Not sure about the front, though. I'm pretty sure it's pretty devastating to it. Snipers operating around this area, and that's why the Humber is here. Infantry section and sappers running away. They've done a good number on the Panzer Grenadiers, though, as they stand there reclaiming the +10 munitions that was supposed to be safe. Humber. Oh, no kills for the Humber. Feels very sad for it. Oh, maybe it gets a chance now. Hey, there we go. Congratulations. Let's get you a cake with a candle on it. So, good start for the British here. Wehrmacht. Until I think they bring out a pack, they're just not going to be able to do anything against the Humber. Lucky for them, though, the Humber isn't looking to assert itself. Ooh.
We're losing a fuel point.
Infantry section running over a mine. Wow. That was a deep mine by Crowley. Grenadiers feeling the might of the infantry section on Humber. No chance in capturing that fuel. It is well defended. Infantry section moving down the road. I think what we're kind of lacking here for Ionic is just pushing that infantry section up ahead and then bringing the Humber in when they see danger. Kind of a little bit campy here. But they have the 2 victory points. Sniper pinging away. Vet 2 now kills 9. Wow, that has been a busy sniper, and I think the sniper was luring the Humber into the pack. Gets a side shot. It's a good one. Oh, is the sniper going to be lost here? Now the Humber drifts around. And the pack dodges a rifle grenade. Amazing stuff.
Victory point is in enemy
Now the
hands.
Humber does at least get away, and there's 2 sapper squads that can go get it repaired quickly. Ooh, was that a mine detonated? Did the infantry section see the mine? And then they exploded it with a rifle grenade. I can only assume that was the case. Anyway, sappers planting mines down at the lighthouse. Engagement on the north. We have the AT rifle out already. No sign of a vehicle for the Wehrmacht, but it always helps to be prepared. Looks like this infantry section is getting addicted to being on fire. Now they retreat. Another infantry section to take their place. And they're going to get the hell out of there as well. Wehrmacht slowly creeping back in terms of territory control. Getting behind an infantry section again. Panzer Grenadiers hitting the retreat button before the Humber arrives. Good call. Grenadiers in a shootout with sappers, falling back. Maybe they spot that sapper squad. Maybe they know the Humber is coming. Ooh, letting the flamethrower squad leap over. I see. Very tactics. There's that pack to thwart the Humber, though. Sappers getting in close, and their power, like I said, it's tremendous up close. Flamethrowers may get out of there. No chasing from the Humber as well. So something that is really important to note as well is simply just having something like an AT gun can be just a threat in itself, that it discourages certain types of behaviors from your opponents. Aggressive behaviors. Stepping on another mine there. Very lucky sapper squad. Don't worry, we've got a replacement for them.
Losing a victory point.
I'm sure there's only one mine there. Go on, step on. There's that sniper again. 11 kills now. Humber moves in, and there is a Stug on the field. Oh, Crowley, you tease. With the old dangling a sniper on a piece of string trick. Now, between the Stug and a pack, that's some strong anti-tank presence for Crowley. So now they just have to focus on dealing with the infantry threat. The sniper's doing a great job of that. Grenade blows an infantry section up. I think Ionic might have been slightly saddened by losing the Humber that... Well, you just don't have time to grieve, do you? And now it's a double funeral. The leftover infantry section, though, managing to hold their ground on the fuel. Meanwhile, Grenadiers taking their munitions back at the top. There must be a munitions deficit for the poor Wehrmacht. I've said this a few times, but early game Wehrmacht are just designed to lose. Good positioning for the infantry section. Ionic making sure to get into no cover so the flames don't hit multiple soldiers. Snipers here. Being out in the open or heavy cover doesn't matter anymore. 16 kills! That's over 1 a minute. So once the Wehrmacht has sort of passed the, let's say, 6-minute mark, that's when they can start getting their spring back. Ooh, a Matilda. Let's see how that's going to stack up against a Stug. So once the Wehrmacht get away from the Grenadiers, they have to first rapidly get anti-tank capabilities online. Not just because of the 6-minute light vehicles, but apparently the 14-minute Matildas. And then after that, they have to start stacking infantry, which can actually do something worth a damn. Whether it's Jaegers or Panzer Grenadiers, both seemingly viable options. The dominant strategy, based on observation, is to go for the Panzer Grenadiers. So going to tier 3, there's the sniper and the Stug, scouting out both of them.
A new infantry section is ready for
British getting a new infantry section. Hopefully not to replace that one. Overly daring. Looks like grenades away, and the grenadiers are also away. Mines going down on the victory point. As well as the minimal munitions. Yes, the British do have 150 munitions. Mines seem like a good investment. Matilda just sat in the middle of the road as Ionic strategizes. Recon flare spotting out where that sniper is. Everyone taking cover. Luckily, not getting the height disadvantage down there because the Germans are pushed back far enough. Sticky grenade on the Stug. Ooh, that would be a good time to bring in the Matilda if there wasn't a pack to also consider. And I don't think Ionic saw where Crowley's pack is. Oh, that's a Nebelwerfer! But it doesn't look like it's gonna be worth. Nebelwerfer is more like a fireworks display. It's pleasant to look at, an experience, an intention possibly not intended by the Germans, or perhaps Relic Studios if we're honest. It's unlikely to do some damage against mobile infantry, but it might get them to shuffle around uncomfortably. The practical use of a Nebelwerfer at the moment would be to hit machine guns or mortars. Pioneers eating bullets for breakfast. Those poor chumps not getting much attention from Crowley. We're gonna back them away. The way one should perhaps think about Pioneers, at least past the 10-minute mark at least, group them up with another squad. They just can't handle any situation alone, and I hate to say it, blob that squad with another squad. Get some value out of it at least. Now the Matilda is pretty slow. Max speed 15 miles per hour on the road. Its slow speed makes Jaeger squads with Panzerschrecks more capable of getting close enough to hit the side, and Panzerschrecks can penetrate anything. I feel it's uncommon for Wehrmacht commanders, though, to back-tech to a Tier 2 building, or go to a Tier 3 if they've went Tier 2 to get the other elite infantry out. And not only that, I mentioned earlier that there was a munitions deficit for Crowley, and those snipers still picking away. Those Panzerschrecks do cost 90 munitions. It's a heck of a step backwards to just try and get that out into the field. Vet 3 on the sniper! Oh my god, 2 snipers out here! You can see already the Vet 1 because they've received training from the infantry company. So 2 snipers. Let the micro begin! These infantry sections are gonna get absolutely devastated just sitting around here. Long engagements no longer favor them. Ooh, the Grenadiers gonna get away. They are, because the snipers are providing cover fire. Matilda, look how slow it is. Sees the Stug. Moved forward just to sort of say, hey, I'm here. It's not seen any action yet. It's just a chunk of metal on the field. That's probably because another one is about to arrive. Strength in numbers. Ooh, the Stug teasing the Matilda again. 2-pounder, 40mm gun on these things. They are seriously good guns. Like, it's basically a light AT gun. It significantly outperforms other light AT guns like the PaK-36 with very few drawbacks. That seems to be the theme with many of the iconic British vehicles. It's like the designer said, what is the strongest thing you can think of? And the majority of the people in the room said, brick. And then you get a Churchill tank that is just literally a brick. It looks like a Nokia 3210 with tracks on either side. I wonder how Ionic is going to deal with the snipers. Looks like a large incursion on the south. Maybe they're just trying to avoid the snipers now. But they've been darting up and down the map. I mean, you kind of have to at that point. The snipers are the way that Crowley is just dealing with the infantry, so they're going to respond as to wherever is needed. Mines triggered. A bunker with a machine gun in has been detected. It's a great placement for a bunker. That will cover both the victory point and the strategic point. Oh, hello, we've got a command panzer. Okay, now that is an interesting choice. It does have the ability to switch rounds to high explosive, so it can both be effective against tanks and infantry, although it's not as good against tanks as it perhaps wants to be. Stug shot bouncing off the front of that Matilda. Command Panzer trying to get some side hits in. The Panzer IV command tank increases the rate of fire and the armor of nearby vehicles. Even so, it's not enough for that to take on a Matilda. Now, how much armor and how much rate of fire it gives, it does not specify. The problem really is down to the penetration of the Stug against the Matilda. Nebelwerfer shots firing down infantry section, easily dodging it. Ooh, stray rocket! That one was wildly off course. Oh, burning, burning! The flames fan out. Before the infantry section retreats over the top of it, that probably would have killed them. Very, very lucky. Another infantry section is being requisitioned. Sappers repairing the Matilda. So we've got a Matilda at the top, Matilda at the bottom. Ionic just trying to split their forces and focus on holding the victory points. I'm not sure if Ionic has any upgrades from the training center. It doesn't look like it, but it just might be a replay issue. I can't imagine not getting that stuff. Just something else, in case nobody knows this, you can get the 17-pounder AT gun, which comes with a truck, and then you can refund the truck. Essentially, you almost get a 17-pounder for free. I hear a Stug moving around in the background. Grenadiers get themselves some veterancy. There it is. Okay, I see. Panzerfaust to try and slow the Matilda. Didn't really work. It's a bold move from Crowley. I've got to give him that. The Stug G does have the ability to fire an explosive close round shell of some sort. It's just got so much health and armor to get through. Did a good number on the Matilda. It sends them back, at least. Command tank at the bottom, trying to deal with the Matilda. We've got a spread of infantry out as well. AT rifles are here. Command tank will just not have any chance of getting through that Matilda. It's just, by itself, the only thing that's really tackling is infantry. We've got artillery being called down close to the bunker. Ooh! That was nasty. Airburst barrage. Slapping that Panzer IV command tank right on the top. The commander managed to live through it. Double snipers down there working on the infantry. With nothing to contend. The Matilda, the Stugs turning on the sappers. That's unfortunate for Crowley. The Stug should have been retreated. Nebel seems to be performing friendly fire. The spread is just so huge. Nebel gets a direct hit. Does nothing. There goes the MG bunker. The sniper also firing on the Matilda. Just gonna need a slight little bit more penetration. The other Matilda being called in. It's not been repaired just yet. Panzer Grenadiers at the back. You're gonna see some merging going on, maybe? Grenadiers have that ability on them. Dodging the rifle grenade. Panzer Grenadiers getting very, very low. We're gonna lose a Vet 2 squad here. Crowley gets the retreat. Again, could be using that merge mechanic a lot more. We got Grenadiers at the back. Not sure if they tried to use a Panzerfaust or not. Actually, I know some interesting things about the Panzerfaust. It was a short-range weapon. That's not it. And because of that, it meant that the operator themselves were often in danger. If you hit a vehicle, there was a chance parts of that vehicle would splint off and shoot their way towards you. The Panzerfaust inflicted more damage than the bazooka or the Panzerschreck. That's probably why, you know, it was short range. In fact, if you know Operation Overlord, i.e. Battle of Normandy, aka D-Day, you had the Americans landing in Utah and Omaha. As for the British, they landed in the locations known as Sword and Gold. I don't think it really matters that these Grenadiers have the high ground. They've stolen an AT rifle, though. That's wonderful. So the British, on their landings, they lost 6% of their tanks to Panzerfausts alone. Which, you know, maybe doesn't sound very high, but as the British fought their way to the Rhine, on the east side of it, 34% of their tanks were lost to the Panzerfaust. And once they got west of the Rhine, and by the time they were fighting in the streets of Germany, Panzerfausts and Panzerschrecks combined were responsible for 70% of Allied tanks destroyed or taken out of action. I'm not sure if there's a difference between destroyed and out of action. Seems the same to me. Now, you've probably seen tanks fitted with all kinds of makeshift armor, like sandbags, logs in some cases, flappy bits of metal. All that was largely because of the Panzerfaust. And knowing those numbers, it's understandable why. Tank commanders would be probably talking to their crew saying, you know, what's most likely to take them out and what to look out for. Ooh, 19 kills on the Panzer Grenadiers. All right, let's get back into the game. We saw a Humber come out. I'm wondering if the Humber is trying to look for the snipers. I can hear them shooting in the distance. Oh, they're down here. Got 30 kills on the Ved 3 sniper. 11 kills. Oh my god, no! Ved 3 sniper digs their own grave. Crowley is going to be upset at that. They were clearly watching it. Humber gunning round for the next one, but goes straight in front of the pack. What are you doing, pack? Not the time to move. The Humber also not moving. It's the command tank that claims the kill. Ionic leaning very heavily into this strategy of trying to divide and conquer, but looking at their military forces, they might have conquered themselves ever so slightly. The Matildas are putting a strain on Crowley. We obviously can't see Crowley's military conditions, but Ionic is having to keep refilling on their infantry sections. Nevertheless, they do retain hold over the victory points. Emberwerfer really hasn't had much of a payoff yet. I feel like Crowley has been spamming it as much as they possibly can. I think whilst I've got a chance, I'll just have a sip of tea. Yeah, still warm. Got this metal cup thing. It keeps tea warm for like 4 hours. It's brilliant. I always forget about it as well. Getting repairs on the Matilda. New sapper squad out on the field as well. Ooh, shell to the face. They went looking for mines. Now they're looking for their friend. Unfortunately, there's no detector for that. These flamethrower pioneers sent out into the battlefield by themselves. Will they win this one? Ved 2 ain't bad. What are you trying to make them prove, Crowley? Have they not given you enough love? And they're winning this one because the infantry squad is all grouped up, so the flames are splashing out. Panzer IV command tank, whilst it's not directly facing, it still seems to be the front armor that's being hit by the Matilda. There's a pack right behind it. And I think Crowley's trying to use the command tank as a bait, but the Matilda's so armored, it is shrugging these shots off. Big loss for Crowley, losing a half-track as well. Stormtroopers pop out, having lost a few inside of the explosion. I'm surprised not to see any Panzer IVs out for Crowley. Maybe they're just looking to experiment with other things. Yeah, more Stugs, see what they can get up to. See how many kills this Matilda's got. Vet 2 on it. 2 vehicles destroyed, 1 friendly killed. It happens. 1 vehicle destroyed and a building for this Matilda. Nebel firing back down. And Crowley's pace really has subsided significantly. See, those direct hits just do nothing. Now, quite often when I'm casting these games, I'm not going to be ragging on the players because, I mean, these are random replays. I myself know that when I play auto match, I'm not necessarily just playing to win. I'm sometimes looking to experiment with something, try and figure something else. I have already done a little bit of testing with the Stugs and figured out that they're just not the kind of tanks you charge in with. I mean, I knew that anyway, but you've got to try and experiment and figure things out. They do work pretty well as a defensive unit, but when it comes to aggression, Stugs really aren't the things you want. Ooh, Sapper's running over some grenades there. Vet 3 on the Grenadiers. Wow! 20 kills! No wonder they're rewarded with an AT rifle. It's not going to do anything against the Matilda, but, you know, it was a nice gift. They do dodge the rifle grenade, so they are somewhat lucky. As for the Pioneers, though, misfortune is brought down on them. So we lose a minesweeper team. There's a Panzer Grenadier. There was a Panzer Grenadier team with an AT rifle. That's also gone, and the pack is trying to flee. Ooh, I think that was a sniper making a pinning shot. First time seeing that in a cast. Nice to see. Big loss, though, for Crowley. It doesn't seem like the Brits have much left to do other than stand on the victory points. New pack hitting the field. Takes aim at the Matilda, but the first shell bounces off, and that's gonna be a fairly repeated pattern. Gets a side hit in there, sneaky shot. Stormtroopers eat a rifle grenade, they fall in battle. Vet 3 Grenadiers tossing a grenade. Infantry section moves out the way. Mine detonated, I think, there. Grenadiers just kind of shrug it off. What is this guy doing? But I think that looks like it's over for Crowley. Congratulations to the British and their Commandant, Ionic. It's a good name, that. I like that. Now, I'm going to chill out, get this edited down, and study the Essence editor some more. I'm going to make some maps and a mod for Company of Heroes 3, a team-based mod that will have proper team-based teamwork. If you'd like to join me, come to the Discord. The link is discord.me/Ironcast. Enjoy the highlights, and I hope to entertain you again soon. Until then, see you around.